That's usually covered by the couch. Yeah, let me just.
Oh.
Yeah. That I still need to deal with.
I am so thrilled to chat with you about Laid. I've seen 7 of 8 episodes, so I still got to get that finale in, but I love it.
Yeah. Wow, you've seen it all.
This show is so much fun from I can't say start to finish, but from to where I have left off. And I love the world, the comedy, all of it. What about the was it your character? Was it the concept? What about it really drew you to want to be a part of it?
I mean, it's so different, you know, like I had never read a script like this that was just so consistently funny, hitting on all these points, but also doing a good job at being heartfelt and making you think back on like your past relationships and how all these things can potentially mark you and other people around you. Yeah, I was just fascinated by it. And then as like the episodes went on, I was just blown away by how funny everyone was. I've never done a comedy, you know, this isn't my forte. I'm always done like drama and stuff. So being around Stephanie and Zasha, Michael and Andre, like everyone is just so absurdly funny. Yeah, it was a blast. It was just a really, really good time.
So I'd love to expound on that a little bit, actually, because I you know, everybody approaches a comedic scene very differently. Most actors approach it very straight, but some comedians will approach it with that sense of trying to hit it as funny as possible. How did you find yourself approaching it, given that you came from a background that was primarily drama?
For me, I just kind of try to open my arms and let it just come to me, you know? Isaac isn't necessarily played as or written as this very, very funny character, you know? He's kind of the more grounded person in the show, I would say. Everyone else is a little unhinged. I think Isaac is more of like the audience's window into Ruby's little chaotic world that's happening there. Like he's definitely much more on the lighter side of things, while everything else in the story is in the darker, shadowy parts. So it was, I guess for me, it was like a good little intro into what like the comedy world is like, because it didn't throw me like into the deep end, like, you know. Yeah, I just tried to open myself up and be a little quirky and just try to do the writing justice. Yeah, I learned a lot from everyone else on set too. I mean, I can't say it enough. They are the funniest people I've ever met.
Stephanie is by far one of the funniest people I've ever watched in modern stuff. So she's fantastic. And you talk about Isaac being sort of the grounding anchor for audiences in that world. What was it like, though, building that rapport with Stephanie, since you're almost meant to be the epitome of the rom-com lead, but you still have your own storyline going on?
Mm-hmm. I mean, building that rapport with Stephanie, I had mentioned it before, you know, she had a lot going on set. She's also executive producing as well. So it was at first kind of hard to find like a connection with her, just because I wasn't working as much on the first 2 episodes as everyone else was. Like they started, I think, like 2 weeks before I started. So I was just kind of twiddling my thumbs in my apartment, you know, exploring Vancouver and just hanging out. But I got the chance to get some one-on-one time with Stephanie, and her and we went out on this hike in Vancouver and just talked about relationships, all the good, the bad, our careers, and how we feel whenever we've booked something or doing something justice and all that. So we got to like really get down to some nitty-gritty conversations with one another and just be like surrounded by this beautiful nature and jumping into rivers and stuff. Howie, my dog here, he was there with us. Yeah, it was a good time. From then on out, it felt like I had, again, it's not like we didn't have a connection before. It was like, given our storylines, I just didn't want it to feel like there was this wall between us. And I was really appreciative of her taking the time out to do that because she was just working every single day and super busy. So to get to that point where we could build that rapport and feel comfortable on set, and do our thing, it was a lovely time.
I love that you got to be able to connect with her in that sense, because it really does then lend to that chemistry on screen very well. Now, you mentioned the quirkiness of your character, and obviously I've got to ask about the Greatest Showman bit, because what a interesting inclusion in this show that I did not see coming. I'd love to hear how long it took you to, prepare for doing that dance sequence.
I, I don't have I wouldn't necessarily call myself a dancer. I'm definitely not. I'm not a trained dancer or anything, but I'm Latino. I feel like I could pick up. So I have rhythm, so I feel like it's easy for me to pick things up. And we were working with this choreographer in Vancouver who was super patient and just incredible at what she did. So at first we would do one-on-one, and learn just different segments of the choreography. And then we would incorporate Stephanie's role in the dance later on. How long did it take us? Honestly, I feel like I picked it up in 2 days. So hour and a half or 2 hours each session. But honestly, the worst part was actually doing it and performing it on camera, because it was just so nerve-wracking. You got so many people in there. I'm like, God damn it, everyone's just gonna judge me here with this dance. But learning to just kind of let go and have fun with it. It was, it was a good time. So honestly, it didn't really take too long. It was a nice little cathartic experience.
So I then want to ask, because that is something I'm curious about. Obviously, rehearsing it versus doing it on camera are two very different things. Did it take you to a bunch of takes to do it, or did you kind of nail it pretty quickly?
There was this one moment where I had to do this double spin on one foot that I just can't for the life of me do. I know that they did a couple of takes anyway because of different angles and stuff. But it was drastically different on set than it was in the rehearsal, because in the rehearsal you have this big mirror in front of you where you kind of have a way to balance yourself and where you are and your foot placement and all that. You didn't have that there, and I was just on set I don't like to wear my contacts because in the middle of scenes my eyes can get a little dry, and so I just take them out. I normally just wear my glasses, but I'm kind of just blind on set, which kind of helps with the nerves and stuff, but it didn't help with me trying to find my center of balance. But yeah, we shot it a few times.
I can only imagine not having the center of gravity when doing something like the double spin. So that's amazing that you did it without that. So my next couple of questions are ones that I see I have time for one question, so I will save this one for later in the show's run because it is a bit spoilery. But that episode 7 cliffhanger of basically Sophie's choice between you and Michael, I mean, that is such a great ending for me to have left up on. What can you tell me about sort of not necessarily who she chooses, but what that, sort of confrontation means for both Isaac as well as Ruby going, into the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that moment is a super pivotal moment in the story where Ruby has this choice of kind of taking this leap with someone new and obviously feels good, or you can go into the direction of something that's familiar and chemistry that's already been built up over the last experiences that they've had or parts of their relationship. So I think we've all kind of been in those moments in real life with our actual relationships. But yeah, I guess everyone's just gonna have to tune in and see what that's like. But it's just weighing those two options there, something new and feels good, but it can be kind of scary to open up and be vulnerable and go with this new strange person, or go with something that's familiar and is starting to feel good.
I'm really curious to see how that plays out because I love all three of your characters and I want just the best things for all of them. So hopefully there's a happy ending somewhere in there for the three of them. But in the meantime, I look forward to spreading the word about the show, Tommy. I mean, I truly have so much fun with it. I think people are gonna love it, and I can't wait to see. Again, can't wait to see what comes out of the finale.
And I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Have a good one.
Isaac.
And I know you're killing guys and girls for sex, and you don't know why. And I believe I worked you up into such a frenzy that you had no choice but to immediately sleep with that guy while you imagined me.